Hey everyone, welcome back to TOPHER Drives, where today we're going on a bit of a farewell drive in the 2023 Dodge Charger SRT Hellcat wide-body jailbreak. The end of an era, the last call for the Dodge Charger, as production is finally coming to an end here for the 2023 model year. And that's a sad thing, you know, as much as we like to poke fun at these for being boats, for being way too heavy, for being stolen every 3 seconds, they are genuinely a very, very cool piece of engineering, and they're one of the last true, for one, large American sedans, and two, muscle cars. This entire era of muscle cars is coming to an end. Chevy is killing the Camaro, Dodge is killing the Charger and the Challenger. The only V8 muscle car that we have left is the Ford Mustang, and who knows how long that'll be around. The S650 will probably be the last V8 ICE muscle car ever. So this whole era coming to an end is just really, really sad. And I feel like we kind of took these cars for granted, made fun of them a little bit too much. And I don't know, man, I'm like really, really sad that these are leaving us. But anyways, what do I have right here in front of me? Well, this is the Jailbreak Hellcat. So for the last couple of years of production, Dodge has given you more customization, which is kind of what they mean by jailbreak. You've got all of the available exterior colors from the entire production run of this generation Charger. This one is finished in Plum Crazy. We have a hammerhead gray interior. We've got some brass monkey wheels, brass monkey Hellcat badges, and just lots of cool little customization things, like really specific things, like stuff you'd see from Porsche. Like you can customize the outline or the little edge of your floor mat. You can pick what color seat belts you want. You can pick what color your little SRT logo glows at night. This one has the white LED with an Alcantara wrapped steering wheel. So just lots of cool little things. And overall, I mean, it's the same car that it's been since 2015, but power is up. I think the last few model years we got like a 10 horsepower bump here for the Hellcat. So this makes 717 horsepower and 650 pound-feet of torque. The 6.2 liter supercharged V8 in this is mated to an 8-speed automatic, and of course it is rear-wheel drive. It's a little bit chilly out today. Actually, I'm like kind of shivering, and we're going to be fighting for traction the entire time because we are on some Pirelli P03 season tires. Not all season, of course. They don't recommend you use these in the snow, but these are by no means a performance tire, so this thing just has no grip. So we're going to be kind of careful today. At least it isn't greasy out. We do have some dry pavement, but let's walk you around this Charger. This will be the last press car Charger we have. I'm sure this will be the last new one that I drive, so kind of sad. Big trunk, proper American sedan stuff here. Of course, not as big as something you'd see on like a Lincoln Town Car or a Ford Crown Victoria, but it gets the job done. We've got our battery under here, no spare tire, but we do get a little cubby here, a little compartment to store some extra stuff. You can see this thing's a little bit dirty. We've been daily driving it this week. The TOPHER and I spent the first half of this week in a Wrangler 392, and now second half of the week here in the Charger. So it has been a very Stellantis-y week. Here is the back seat. These doors feel so old-fashioned. I kind of like that. It's funny because we often mock cars as well for feeling old, but there's like this kind of nostalgic thing that goes along with some of these cars that have been the same for 10 years, like Toyotas, like the old style Lexus GX, Lexus LX, and now that the new ones have come out, we're like, oh, we don't like those as much. So kind of get the same vibe here with the Dodge Charger. Let's hop in the back. Great rear seat room, and if you're using this thing to commute or daily drive, for one, you're mad for doing that in a Hellcat, but respect. But if you need to take passengers, need to take your kids to school, this is just the ultimate muscle car solution because you've got plenty of room here in the back seat. No real amenities back here. You got a couple of vents, USB-A ports, and you've got heated rear seats, which are nice. But door panels are pretty simple. We've got that hammerhead gray stitching here on the upper and mid parts of the door panels. I will say the dashboard does look super dated. That's okay. All right, let's hop up and show you the beating heart of the Charger Hellcat. here it is, and this is one of my favorite looking engine bays, the massive supercharger here on our 6.2 liter V8. Again, 717 horsepower. And what I love about this is you can actually hear the supercharger inside the cabin. A lot of modern cars, you can't hear the superchargers, and in this one you certainly can. We've got our last call badge here on our radiator support area, designed in Auburn Hills, assembled in Brampton, Ontario. All of the 23 Chargers get this little plaque signifying the final year of production. All right, let's stop being sad. Let's hop in this thing and let's take it for a drive, because this is a laugh factory of a car. It always puts a smile on your face. And that is just what muscle cars do best. They make lots of noise, lots of tire smoke, lots of giggles, and lots of smiles. SRT embossed here on our hammerhead gray seats. And these seats are very, very comfortable. They're very large and supportive. They're kind of just like big couches. Ooh, and that door is far away. All right, let's fire this thing up. And we have some kind of like faux carbon fiber trim that goes around our shifter, our infotainment screen. We have wired Apple CarPlay on this ancient Uconnect system, but you know, I say ancient, but it's pretty dang reactive and works better than Ford's newest infotainment system, I'll give it that. So I guess that's kind of a win here for the Charger. This thing starts around 80 grand, 82,000. This one as spec'd is right around 90,000. You can also opt for the Hellcat Red-Eye Jailbreak, which has 807 horsepower, and that's like $10,000 more. Honestly, if it were me, I would go for this one, because the 807 kind of just makes this thing even more undrivable. You'll see in a minute, the 717 is also kind of undrivable, but the 807 is just ridiculous. We had one of those last year, and I didn't enjoy it as much as I've enjoyed this just regular 717 horsepower, which sounds hilarious to say 717 is regular, but it feels better in this packaging here with this Charger. Launch control, SRT button for our drive modes, which are all in the infotainment. They've always been like this, and the way that this reacts, it reacts quick enough to kind of just take care of everything. You can set your launch control RPM, you can set your line lock, all of those things happen here in the screen. We're going to stay in auto mode for the first couple of minutes, and then once we get off the highway, go to our little test loop, we'll go into sport mode, which puts our ESC into sport, traction control off, and it'll let us have a little bit of fun. All right, here we go. We got to look at this backup camera. The backup camera is definitely 10 years old. You can tell that for sure. At least we get lines, though, to help us see where we're going. Turning radius is decent, and the steering's got a nice weight to it as well. And I love this Alcantara steering wheel, and honestly I love this steering wheel design altogether. Even though the paddle shifters are a little bit high up, they have a nice feeling to them, and they get the job done. See us struggling for grip there in auto mode with about 20% throttle, but this thing just sounds so cool. And you know, it has a nice feel to it. This whole car, even though this interior is ancient, it feels really well put together, honestly, for what it is. Everything you touch has a nice click to it. Of course, very cool noises from that 8-speed automatic as it shifts. Lots of good pops, burbles, snorts, whatever you want to call it. Oh man, yeah, this is just a car that makes you smile, makes you feel cool, and it's the end of an era for muscle cars. Dodge has recently announced that that weird two-door Charger EV thing that projects noises with speakers to passerbys as you're driving down the road. They've announced that that car is going to come with an internal combustion engine option, which I imagine will be the Hurricane Inline 6. I hope they keep this ZF 8HP in that, because I think that'll actually be quite a nice recipe. Of course, it'll be nothing like a V8. It's a nice Hummer H2. But, we kind of just got to work with what we got, and I trust Stellantis to make a cool turbo inline 6 muscle car. I think they'll be able to do it. But nothing will ever be as cool as this whiny supercharged 6.2 liter V8. I love how at 1500 RPM you can still hear that supercharger. I don't know why people complain about like the supercharger noise intrusion. I think it's cool, and maybe if you actually owned this car and you lived with it day to day, it would get a little bit annoying. But you could just turn up the volume on your Harman Kardon optional, it's like $2,000, Harman Kardon audio system, and you wouldn't even hear it anymore. This thing, I will say about this Harman Kardon, not the best sound system in the world, but boy does it have some power. You can turn up some music pretty loud in here, and it'll rattle your teeth out, that's for sure. Let's hop on the highway here and see what our highway manners are like. One good thing about these 3-season tires, they're a bit of a harder compound, so they hold up for one, but since they are a bit more pedestrian, it allows this Charger to be a little bit quieter on the highway, which is a good thing. We can use that low down torque. I'll just cruise in there in 7th gear into 8th gear, merging at 70. And to be expected, no sort of fancy radar cruise control or anything in this Charger, just a very traditional system. But Stellantis has always laid this out really nicely on the right-hand side of the steering wheel. Very straightforward, very easy to figure out. And I'll shut up for a second so you guys can hear our NVH. Yeah, not a lot of road intrusion or wind intrusion because, of course, sedans are a bit more slippery than SUVs, so usually they are a bit quieter. I love this big digital speedo here in the middle, but we can also have some other things. We can have our tire pressure, we can have a G meter, which is very cool. There's our MPG, we can have a trip computer. Put a speed warning up. Temperature, oil temp, pressure, oil life, battery voltage, intake air temp, engine torque, engine power, air fuel ratio, and boost. Oh, I want the boost gauge. Yes, give me the boost gauge. Thank you. All right, we're approaching our fun section. Let's pop this thing into sport mode. And I'm going to shift my gears manually because while the Charger, I think, has often gotten some slack for being available in automatic only, this is a wonderful automatic transmission. And Stellantis has done a fantastic job tuning this ZF8HP, which I will say is a fantastic transmission on its own. But this is how you tune an automatic transmission. I gave the Mustang Dark Horse 10 speed some slack for being just kind of bland. This is an entertaining 8-speed automatic, and this is how I would have all my automatics if I had a choice. Struggling there for grip. This thing just absolutely rips. Crisp, satisfying gear changes, upshifts and downshifts. Nice blips. And it just rockets. I mean, this is a very heavy car, but 717 horsepower is no joke. Doesn't matter what RPM you're at, this thing just rips. Oh, I really see why people love these things so much, and I also kind of understand why they've gone unchanged for so long. They got this recipe super well dialed in 2015, and they just stuck with it. Suspension feels nice. I mean, this is just the beauty of muscle cars and cars that are like this, is that you can daily drive these, and granted you have to be very rich to be able to run them and deal with the 10 mpg and rear tires that you go through more often than a regular car, but they're totally dailyable, they're cozy, and they're so livable. Oh my goodness, no grip. Brakes feel nice. Okay, let's do a launch control. 1500 RPM, that should be pretty good. I imagine we'll still have some crazy wheel spin though. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Honestly, for what that launch control has to deal with, to be able to compute with having no grip from those rear tires, it does a pretty dang good job putting the power down. All right, we got a little bit of heat in these tires now. We have some more grip. I love this car. I really do. So quick. Oh my goodness. There are moments where this car feels almost German, which makes sense because it has a German transmission, but just the overall tuning and the way it behaves, it's honestly quite refined. I love that you can shift with our little automatic shifter down here as well. Gives you the option to grab second gear while you're going around a corner. Keep your... I don't know what I was going to say. It's just such a fun thing. It really is. All of the tuning, the throttle response, the transmission, the brakes, the steering, all of it just works together so well. And dynamically, I mean, this really is, it's fun, it's communicative. And if you've never driven one of these, I can understand how from the numbers on paper, you could think that it's just a big, clumsy oaf. But it gets the job done. This is a serious performer. And now it's time to say goodbye to the Charger, the Challenger, the Durango SRT, the Durango Hellcat. It's sad. Wonder what a whole shot is like without launch control. We should do that. Just like give it some gas in first gear and see if it even hooks up. No, it just does a huge burnout. Okay, so I guess launch control maybe is necessary. Yeah, maybe if you're gonna get one of these, get rid of these Pirellis and get yourself some like Potenza supercar tires or something though. I don't know what can really put up with 700 horsepower. Yeah. It's just such a fun car. It's fun. It has character. It's entertaining. Now, maybe if you're like a very important businessman or a funeral director or a real estate agent, probably not the car for you. But otherwise, have yourself one of these before you can no longer get them, before they become unobtainable, and before they all get stolen and stripped and just don't exist anymore. Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I could drive around all day in this car and laugh and make big 11s, which we should check out our work. I don't know where we did that at. Oh my. Did I do that? Did I do that? I think I did do that. Holy crap. No, that couldn't have been me. Okay, maybe it was. Well, anyways, I could drive around all day, make big 11sers on the pavement, and it's like addicting. I just want to keep doing it. Oh, it was me. It was me. Yeah. Okay, let's stop this drive before I get arrested or crash. And we'll wrap up our thoughts here on the Charger Hellcat Jailbreak. The Laugh Factory American muscle sedan. You know, comparatively to the Ford Mustang that I just drove a few weeks ago, and of course this isn't a direct competitor to the Mustang, that would be the Challenger, but the Challenger and Charger, they drive very similarly, and every day of the week I'd have this over the Mustang. And I'm sorry if you're a Mustang fanboy and you disagree, but after my week with the Mustang, it was just an exhausting car to drive, and the 10-speed is not rewarding. And I don't know, I think the Mustang, obviously it excels in some ways, but I really prefer the Stellantis offering of muscle cars, and I wish it was easier to own these cars. You know, just being able to park them outside and be able to walk out to them the next morning and have them still be there, and not just having the passenger side rear glass laying in the driveway. That would be nice, obviously. But if you have a garage, you have the means to have one of these, I would go for it. It's such a fun option. The good thing is they did make a lot. They've made them since 2015, and prior to that, of course, there was the previous generation. But it's just a cool car, and I'm really, really sad that production's coming to an end for all of the Stellantis V8s, for the Chevy Camaro, for a lot of performance, a lot of American muscle cars. So it's the end of an era. Get them while you can. I feel very fortunate to have been able to experience these cars in my lifetime, because this is it. They're gone. It's the Swan song Charger. It's very purple and it's brilliant. I'm just a big fan. So hopefully you guys enjoyed watching. Again, kind of similar to my Wrangler 392 video. You know, we just went around, squealed tires, and made a lot of noise and laughed. But, you know, sometimes that's fun. We got to let loose. These cars bring out the worst in you. They are always in your ear telling you to do heinous things. But that's why I love this thing. I'll always love this car. And hopefully one day I'll be able to have one of my own. Maybe a plum crazy jailbreak just like this car. What a thing. Stellantis, FCA, Dodge, Chrysler, whatever you guys call yourselves nowadays. Thank you so much for treating us to such a cool car for the past 8 years. And as much as we've mocked you about this thing, deep down, we all really love it. Everybody loves muscle cars. I don't care if you admit it or not. It's just a cool thing. Cool, guys. Well, thank you all so much for watching. This is probably the last one of these that I'll ever drive until maybe I own one day, or someone's nice enough to let me have a go in theirs. So a little bit of a sad day, but that's it. The Swan song Charger. So again, thank you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.